In 1971, a retired locksmith in Detroit turned his bedroom into a fortress for less than $40. When two men kicked in his front door at 3 a.m., his setup bought him the 90 seconds it took for help to arrive. Today, companies sell safe rooms for $20,000 and up, but number 14 on this list does the same job for the price of a sandwich. And number 3 stops a grown man cold using something already hanging in your closet. Hit that subscribe button. Let's count down. Number 20, the 3-inch screw. Here's the thing nobody at the hardware store tells you. The strike plate on your bedroom door, that little metal rectangle the latch slides into, is almost always held on by 2 screws barely half an inch long. They bite into the soft pine of the door jamb and nothing else. One good kick, and that pine splinters like a toothpick. The fix costs about $4. You pull those stubby screws out and drive in 3-inch wood screws instead. Now the plate isn't anchored to a strip of trim. It's anchored to the 2x4 stud framing inside your wall. That's the difference between a door that pops on the first hit and a door that holds through 5. Do the same on your hinges. Swap 1 screw per hinge for a 3-inch. 10 minutes with a screwdriver. A $20,000 safe room is built on reinforced framing and long anchor bolts. You just did the same thing for the price of a coffee. Break-in artists count on that half-inch screw. They've kicked 100 doors and everyone gave the same way. Yours won't. They move to the next house. That's the whole game. Make yours the hard one. Number 19, the bedroom deadbolt. Most people lock the front door and consider themselves safe. But your bedroom door, the last line between you and someone already inside, usually has nothing but a flimsy privacy button you can pop with a straightened paperclip through the little hole in the knob. That's not a lock. That's a suggestion. For about $15 and an hour of work, you can put a real single-cylinder deadbolt on your bedroom door. Not the push-button kind, the kind with a solid steel bolt that throws a full inch into a reinforced strike. When that bolt is out, the door doesn't rattle, doesn't give, doesn't pop. Someone would have to destroy the door itself to get through, and that takes time and noise, the 2 things an intruder cannot afford. Here's what the security companies don't advertise. The panic room they want to sell you is really just one room with a better lock and a better door. That's it. That's the secret. During a home invasion, retreating to a locked, solid bedroom and calling for help is exactly what police tell you to do. A deadbolt makes that retreat mean something. Without it, the room you're hiding in is just a room with a closed door. Number 18, the hinge nobody thinks about. You can have the best deadbolt in the world and still lose if your hinges are on the wrong side. Look at your bedroom door right now. If you can see the hinge barrels from the hallway, your door swings out, and that's a problem, because an intruder can tap those pins loose and lift the whole door off, lock and all. The fix is almost free. You knock out one pin, drill a small hole, and set a short screw or a nail so the door can't be lifted, a hinge stud. Or you buy security hinges with set screws for a few dollars. Better yet, when you can, hang the door so it swings into the room, hinges hidden. Here's the part people miss. Home invaders are opportunists working fast in the dark, and a door with exposed pins is one they can open in under a minute without a sound. Silence is their whole advantage. Take away the quiet opening and you've taken away their plan. $3 in hardware protects the one weak point that even people with expensive locks forget exists. The safe room industry charges you thousands to solve a problem you can solve with a nail. Number 17, the humble rubber wedge. This is the one that sounds too simple to work, and that's exactly why it works. A rubber door wedge costs about $2. Kicked tight under a closed door from the inside, it turns into a brace that fights back. Here's the physics. The harder someone shoves that door, the more force drives down into the wedge, and the tighter it jams against the floor. Push harder, hold harder. It's a machine that uses the attacker's own strength against him. For $8, you can get the version with a built-in alarm, a little screamer that hits 120 decibels the instant the door moves. That's louder than a chainsaw 6 inches from your bed. Now picture it from the other side. A man eases a door open at 3 a.m. expecting silence, and instead gets a shriek loud enough to wake the street and a door that won't budge. Every second he stands there fighting it is a second closer to your neighbor's light coming on or the police pulling up. Delay and noise. That's what a $20,000 room buys you, dressed up in steel. A $2 wedge buys the same two things and fits in a nightstand drawer. Keep one by every bedroom door in the house. Number 16. Ditch the hollow door. Go knock on your bedroom door. If it sounds like a drum, hollow, cheap light, you've got what most American homes have, a hollow core interior door that's basically two thin sheets of veneer over a cardboard honeycomb. A grown man can punch through one. All the locks and screws in the world mean nothing bolted to a door made of air. The upgrade is a solid core door, and a plain one runs about $100 at any home center, the single biggest jump in protection on this list for the money. Solid core doesn't punch through. It doesn't kick through easily. It takes real, sustained, loud effort with real tools. And that's the whole point. You're not building something invincible. You're building something slow. Every panic room ever sold is built around one idea. Buy time. Time for the call to connect, for the sirens to start, for the intruder to lose his nerve. A solid core door on a reinforced frame is the beating heart of that idea, and you can install it in an afternoon. The company quoting you 20 grand is going to hang a door a lot like this one and charge you for the drywall around it. Skip the middleman. Buy the door. Number 15, the brace bar. The counter to prying and kicking is stupidly low-tech, a bar that runs from the door down to the floor at an angle, so the force of a kick transfers into the ground instead of the frame. You've seen them, adjustable steel security bars, sometimes called door jammers, $20 to $30. One end braces under the knob, the other digs into the floor. Now the door and the floor are one solid unit. To get through, an attacker isn't fighting a latch anymore. He's fighting the whole structure of your house. Tests show these bars let a plain door survive kicks that would have blown it open in one hit. For a sliding glass door, the same idea costs nothing. A cut broomstick laid in the track so the door physically cannot roll open. That's the trick renters use when they can't change the locks, and it beats the flimsy latch every sliding door comes with. The theme running through every one of these is the same. You are not trying to be Fort Knox. You are trying to be too slow, too loud, and too much trouble. A $30 bar makes your bedroom exactly that. First pattern break. Here's where it all clicks together. The security industry has a phrase they don't put in the brochure, the 4 Ds. Deter, detect, delay, defend. Every real security system on Earth, from a guarded facility to your grandmother's front porch, works on those 4 ideas and nothing else. Deter them from choosing your house. Detect them the second they try. Delay them long enough for help to come. Defend if it comes to that. And here's the secret: the $20,000 quote depends on you never realizing money buys you almost nothing on that list that $50 and a Saturday can't. A floodlight deters, a door alarm detects, long screws and a solid door delay, a locked bedroom and a phone let you defend. The expensive safe room is just all 4 Ds stacked in one room and marked up 2,000%. You are not paying for safety. You are paying for the feeling of having bought it, a feeling a wedge and a deadbolt deliver for the price of lunch. Number 14, the portable add-a-lock. This one is for renters, for travelers, for anyone who can't or won't drill into a door, and it costs about the price of a sandwich. It's a portable door lock, sometimes sold as an add-a-lock or travel lock, a little metal plate that slips into the strike and a piece that clamps over it so the door can't be pulled open even if someone has a key. No installation, no screws. You carry it in your pocket. In a hotel, a dorm, or an apartment where the landlord has copies of every key, this $8 device does something the deadbolt can't. It stops a person who is authorized to open the door. Think about that. Most people's nightmare isn't a stranger with a crowbar. It's someone who has a way in, an ex, a bad roommate, a maintenance guy, or a stranger at a motel with a copied key card. The add-a-lock doesn't care who's on the other side. Once it's clamped on, the door opens 2 inches and stops dead. For the cost of a sandwich, you close the one gap expensive built-in security can't, the gap where the intruder already has the key. Throw one in your bag, throw one in your nightstand. It weighs nothing and changes everything. Number 13, window pins. Everybody armor plates the door and leaves the windows wide open. A ground floor window is often the easiest way into a bedroom, and most window latches are decorative at best. The fix is a window pin, about $1 per window. On a double-hung window, you drill a small angled hole where the two sashes overlap and drop in a nail or a metal pin. Now the window can't be slid up past that point, even if someone breaks the latch. Want air? Drill a second hole a few inches up so it locks in a vented position too small to climb through. On sliding windows, the broomstick trick from earlier does the same job in the track. This costs a rounding error and stops the exact entry method burglars use most on single-story homes. Here's the uncomfortable truth the alarm companies won't lead with. The majority of break-ins happen through a door or window that wasn't properly secured in the first place, not through some clever bypass. You don't need to out-engineer a criminal. You need to make the easy way in Stop Being Easy. $1's worth of nails in your window tracks does precisely that. Number 12, security film. Now glass. A window's weak point isn't the latch, it's the pane itself, and a criminal knows he can break it in a second and reach through. Security window film changes that math. It's a clear, tough polyester layer you squeegee onto the inside of the glass, $30 to $60 for a bedroom's worth. When someone strikes a filmed window, the glass still cracks, but it doesn't fall apart. The film holds the shards together in one stubborn sheet, so instead of a clean hole, the intruder is left beating on a spiderwebbed pane that won't clear. That takes time. That takes noise. Both are his enemies. This is the same principle behind the laminated glass in a $20,000 safe room, minus the four-figure price tag. It won't stop a determined person with all night and a sledgehammer. Nothing on a budget will. But home invasions aren't leisurely. They're fast and nervous, and a window that refuses to break cleanly is exactly the kind of surprise that sends someone looking for an easier target. You can film your ground floor windows in an afternoon with a spray bottle and a credit card. It's invisible from the street, and it turns your cheapest weak point into a wall. Number 11. Motion floodlights. Nothing ruins a break-in like being seen, and nothing makes a person feel seen like a light snapping on the instant they step into your yard. A motion-activated LED floodlight costs about $25, runs on a battery, or screws into an existing fixture, and asks nothing of you after you mount it. When something the size of a person crosses the yard at 2 a.m., the yard turns to daylight. To someone creeping toward your window, that light is a spotlight and a witness at the same time. They don't know if it's automatic or if you flipped it on. They don't know who's watching from the dark house. And that uncertainty is poison to a person whose whole plan depends on not being noticed. This is the Dieter and detectives working for a couple of quarters a night in electricity. The bright light does two jobs. It scares off the person hoping for cover, and it wakes you before they reach the glass. Put one over the back door, one at each side of the house, one on the darkest approach to your bedroom. $60 total. A security company will charge that much just to talk about lighting. You can have the whole system glowing tonight. Second pattern break. Here's something worth sitting with. Researchers have actually interviewed convicted burglars and asked them how they picked houses and what scared them off. And the answers are almost insulting in how cheap they are to act on. They avoided homes with dogs, real or just the sound of one. They avoided houses that looked occupied, lights on, a TV flickering, a car in the drive. They avoided noise, cameras, and anything that made the job take longer than a couple of minutes. Almost none of them said they looked for the house without a professional alarm. They look for the easy one, the dark one, the quiet one, the one where nobody seems home and nothing seems to be watching. Read that again, because it flips the whole industry on its head. You are not competing with a criminal's skill. You are competing with your neighbor's houses. You don't have to be impossible to break into. You have to be more trouble than the place next door. A light, a barking dog sound, a car left in the drive. These are worth more per dollar than almost anything a salesman can sell you, because they work on the decision that happens before the crime even starts. Number 10. The gravel moat. Silence is an intruder's best friend, so take it away from him. A strip of loose gravel under your bedroom windows and along the approach to your house is one of the oldest security tricks there is, and it costs about a bag of gravel, call it $5 a window. You cannot walk across deep gravel quietly. It crunches, it shifts, it announces every step. Someone sneaking toward your window in the dark suddenly sounds like they're walking on cereal, and that noise carries straight through the glass to your ears. Castles used gravel courtyards for this exact reason centuries ago. It's free intelligence, an early warning system with no batteries, no wiring, no subscription that runs forever and never gives false alarms in the wind. Pair it with the motion light, and now anyone approaching your bedroom is both lit up and loud, and they haven't even reached the window yet. This is the Detect D at its absolute cheapest. The $20,000 room might come with a fancy sensor package. Your gravel does the same job, and you'll hear it from a dead sleep. Spread it 2 or 3 feet wide under every ground floor window. It looks like landscaping. It works like a tripwire. Number 9, thorns under the window. Landscaping is a weapon, and almost nobody uses it. Plant something thorny and dense under your ground floor windows. A rosebush, a barberry, a holly, a pyracantha loaded with inch-long spikes, and you've built a barrier no burglar wants to crawl through in the dark. A shrub costs $10 or $15 and grows into your defense a little more every year. Think about the mindset of someone trying to reach your window quietly. Now put a wall of thorns between him and the glass. He can't push through without getting torn up, without making noise, without leaving blood and fabric behind for the police. Most simply won't try. They'll go find a window that isn't guarded by a plant that fights back. Security professionals call this defensive planting, and high-end homes pay landscapers thousands to do exactly what you can do with a shovel and a Saturday. The thorns don't sleep. They don't need power. They deter the person before he ever commits and slow down the one who tries anyway. Nature builds razor wire for free. Let it. Number 8, fake occupancy. The single most protective thing about your home is you being in it, or seeming to be. Burglars want empty houses. Interviews prove it over and over. So the trick is to look home even when you're not, and it costs almost nothing. A cheap plug-in timer, $5, clicks a lamp on and off in the evening on a schedule. A fake TV simulator, about $15, throws the same flickering blue glow a real television makes against the curtains. So from the street, it looks like someone's up watching the news at 11 p.m. Leave a radio on a talk station. Leave a pair of muddy boots by the door. If you have 2 parking spots, leave a car in one when you travel. Every one of these plants the same seed of doubt. Someone is home, and I don't want to meet them. That doubt is the deterrent, and doubt is free. The expensive safe room protects you after someone has already decided to come in. Fake occupancy makes them decide not to come in at all. $30 of timers and a fake TV box does more to keep your bedroom safe over a year than most of the hardware on this list, because the safest fight is the one that never starts. Number 7, the decoy. Here's a trick that costs nothing and can end the whole encounter in seconds. Keep a decoy, a cheap worn-out wallet with a few $1 bills and expired cards left where it's easy to grab. An old, dead phone on the nightstand. A jewelry box in the obvious spot. The top dresser drawer everyone checks first, holding costume pieces, while the real things live somewhere boring, like a coat pocket in the closet or a container in the pantry. The logic is cold, but it works. A person who breaks in wants to be gone fast. Give them something to find quickly, and they take it and leave, without ever tearing the house apart or coming toward the bedroom where you are. You are not protecting the stuff. You are buying an exit, theirs. Some people keep a throwdown wallet specifically to toss in one direction during a confrontation so they can move the other way. It flips the intruder's own greed into your escape route. A $20,000 room hides you and your valuables behind steel. A $5 decoy wallet means the intruder is satisfied and gone before he ever knows you have a room to hide in. The cheapest security is the kind that makes the criminal leave happy. Third pattern break. Let's talk about the number because $20,000 is not an accident. The home security industry figured out something powerful a long time ago. Fear doesn't shop around. When a person is scared for their family, they don't compare prices. They buy the biggest, most expensive-sounding solution on offer because it feels like buying certainty. So the industry sells rooms, systems, monitoring contracts, and monthly fees priced to feel serious. And the dirty secret is that the underlying protection, a solid door, a good lock, a light, an alarm, a plan, costs almost nothing and has for 100 years. They're not selling you safety. They're selling you the relief of having spent enough money to stop being afraid. But a $20,000 room with an untested door is worth less in a real emergency than a $40 setup you've actually rehearsed. Preparation beats price every single time, and preparation is free. The families who came through home invasion safe were rarely the ones with the most expensive gear. They were the ones who'd thought it through. You can be that family this weekend without a single financing plan. Number 6, the trip alarm. Detection doesn't have to come from a wired system with a monthly bill. You can build an alarm out of a spool of fishing line and a handful of bells for under $10. Run clear line across a hallway or a window, approach at shin height, tie it off to a cluster of jingle bells or a stack of empty cans, and now anyone moving through in the dark sets off a racket they never saw coming. Cruder, cheaper, and honestly more reliable than half the gadgets sold. There's nothing to hack, nothing to jam, and no battery to die at the wrong moment. For a few dollars more, hang battery-powered door and window chimes, the little magnetic ones that shriek when the contact breaks. Stick them on every entry in 10 minutes with no tools. The goal isn't to catch the intruder. The goal is to never be surprised, to get those precious seconds of warning while they're still at the threshold and you're still safe behind your reinforced bedroom door with a phone in your hand. That warning is the whole ball game. The difference between waking to a noise and waking to a stranger already in your room is measured in seconds, and a $10 string of bells buys you those seconds. Number 5, the dumb sensor. The security companies want you to believe detection requires their network, their app, their subscription. It doesn't. A standalone glass break alarm, a little unit that listens for the frequency of shattering glass and screams when it hears it, costs about $15 and needs no wiring and no monthly anything. Stick-on magnetic contact alarms for doors and windows run a few dollars each and do one job well. The instant the door or window opens, they blast more than 100 decibels right there at the point of entry. That's the part that matters. Noise at the breach does two things at once. It warns you and it terrifies the intruder because the one thing he cannot tolerate is attention. A screaming alarm at the window tells the whole street something is wrong and tells him this house was a mistake. These dumb sensors have no subscription, no company, no one to call before they go off. They just work forever for the cost of the batteries. Stack a few at your most likely entry points and you've replicated the detection layer of an expensive system for the price of a movie ticket. The scream is free. The peace of mind is the same. Number 4, the lifeline. Every trick so far buys you time. This one is what you do with it. The most important object in your bedroom during an emergency is a charged phone, and the most common failure is a dead one. So build a lifeline. Keep a charger by the bed and actually use it. Keep a cheap backup battery pack charged in the drawer. Know your own address cold. You'd be shocked how many people blank on it under adrenaline. And if you can, keep a landline or an old phone that can still dial emergency services even without a plan. Add an air horn or a whistle to the nightstand. When you can't speak or you need to signal a neighbor, a blast of 100 decibels through the wall does what a shout can't. During a real home invasion, the plan is simple, and every expert repeats it. Get to a room, lock it, and call for help while staying quiet and out of sight. A dead phone turns that plan into just hiding. A charged phone with a known address turns it into a countdown that ends with help at your door. The $20,000 room is worthless without this. The lifeline is worth everything with or without it. Charge the phone tonight. Number 3, the closet rod. Reach into your closet and there's a security tool already hanging there. the rod your clothes are on, or the broom in the corner, a length of solid wood, a cut closet rod, a broom handle, a dowel, is the cheapest door and window brace ever invented, and it stops a grown man cold. Lay it in the track of a sliding glass door or a sliding window, and that door physically cannot roll open, no matter how the latch fails. Cut it to length, drop it in, done. $0, 30 seconds. For a swinging door, wedge a sturdy length of wood at an angle from the knob to the floor, and you've made a brace bar for free. This is the exact trick that survives when the fancy stuff fails, because there's nothing electronic to defeat and nothing to pick. It's just a solid stick and simple physics refusing to let 2 feet of door become an opening. Every apartment I've ever helped someone secure started here, with a broomstick in the patio door, because it's free and it works tonight. The Safe Room Company will sell you steel bars that do the same thing a piece of wood from your closet does for nothing. Go cut the rod. It's the best free upgrade in your whole home. Number 2, the safe corner. If someone gets past everything, where you stand in that room decides how it ends, and this costs nothing but thought. Pick the corner of your bedroom that can't be seen from the door and that no one can approach without fully entering the room. Police call the doorway the fatal funnel, because it's the one spot an intruder must pass through, exposed, while you are tucked to the side with cover and warning. You want to be behind something solid, angled, so you see the door before anyone in the door sees you, with a clear path to your phone and your exit. And here's the counterintuitive part. Kill the lights. A dark room where you know every inch and the intruder knows nothing is your advantage, not his. He's the one stumbling into unfamiliar black while you're braced, oriented, and already on the phone. Every high-end panic room is really just a good position. Cover, sight lines, communication, and time sold as a product. You already own the room. You just have to know your spot in it before the night it matters, so that if you're ever jolted awake, your body moves to the corner on instinct instead of freezing in the open. Position is free. Position is everything. Number 1, the plan you rehearse. Here's the one that beats a $20,000 room, and it costs exactly nothing. A plan you've actually practiced. All the hardware on this list, the screws, the deadbolt, the wedge, the closet rod, the phone, is just scattered parts until the night you have to use them. And that night is the worst possible time to think for the first time about where you go and what you do. So think about it now. Walk it. Where do the kids go? Your room? Or do you go to them? Who calls? What's the address you say out loud? Which door gets braced first? Where's the corner you move to? Then run it once calmly on a normal evening, the way a family runs a fire drill, because that's exactly what this is. Nobody questions practicing for a fire, and a home invasion works the same way. The people who come through it safe are almost never the ones with the most expensive equipment. They're the ones who'd already decided what to do, so their bodies moved while their minds caught up. A safe room you never drilled in is a very expensive place to panic. A plan you rehearsed is free, weighs nothing, and is the single most powerful thing on this entire list. The room is optional. The plan is not. Here's my challenge. Do one of these this week. Just one. Drive the 3-inch screws. Cut the closet rod for your slider. Charge the phone and say your address out loud. Then walk your bedroom and find your corner. Drop which one you're doing in the comments. I want to know if the closet rod gets more love than the door wedge. Because a safe room was never about the room. It was about time, noise, and a plan. And every bit of that is already within your reach for the price of a sandwich.